Everything Outdoors is brought to you by Ford, outfitting you with the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth. Ford, no boundaries.
Today on Everything Outdoors, we'll show you how to build a Hawken black powder rifle, perfect for big game. Then we'll fly north, deep into the Canadian wilderness, land of the caribou, and put it to the test. Plus, we'll begin our step-by-step build-up of the ultimate outdoor lodge. All this and more in this edition of Everything Outdoors.
Great shot, right on target.
Man, this is a great gun.
Hi, I'm Scott Lyles, and thanks for joining us.
And I'm Byron Ferguson. Looks like we've got this one shooting pretty well.
Hey, we built Byron's 54 caliber muzzleloader from a kit. And these old guns have been around since the early 1800s when Sam Hawken built the very first one.
As the early pioneers moved westward, they needed the big boy rifle to take larger game at longer distances.
Hey, they worked great back then and they're still mighty popular. Let's go inside and we'll show you how to build one.
I think we got the powder bullet combination just right.
Well, you got to be comfortable about 120 yards.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the shop. This is where we'll do a variety of outdoor how-to projects ranging from archery and fishing to hunting and gunsmithing.
And believe it or not, building a kit gun like this is actually pretty easy. You just don't need that many fancy tools.
Now, you can buy these already assembled, but it's a lot more satisfying to do it yourself. The Hawken has plenty of style. A brass butt plate and patch box, percussion lock with double set triggers, adjustable rear sight, wooden ramrod, and a heavy hexagon barrel.
This is an Italian kit that's imported by Dixie Gun Works, and it comes complete with everything you need. The ramrod, barrel, tang, barrel rib, and of course this walnut stock that'll need a little sanding. Now our brass parts, well, we're going to have to buff and polish these. The first step, we're going to install this patch box, and it's going to take a lot of sanding right here to get a nice smooth finish.
You better get busy.
I got you covered.
The really good thing about this kit is some of the parts come pre-assembled, like the trigger group and the percussion lock. We also have the sight group and all the hardware you'll need. Some of the parts will need a little bit of dressing with a file, but before you put them in your vise, put a shim in there to keep from scratching the parts. Don't get crazy with it, just knock the burrs off where it's nice and smooth.
You want to take your time and don't remove too much material. What we're looking for is a nice, even, and flush fit. What you want to do is get the edges knocked down and keep sanding until everything's even. And remember, always sand with the grain. Next step, buff and polish the brass parts.
While Scott's working on the stock, I'll start cold bluing the barrel. Now, it was shipped with a protective coating that I had to get off with solvent and hot soapy water, but now it is clean, dry, and ready to blue. Be sure you wipe it on with light overlapping strokes. In between steps, you'll need to wash and dry the barrel again. You'll need to remove the chemical residue with fine steel wool and just keep applying more coats until you get it as dark as you want.
Okay, I've got the stock prepped and ready to finish. We're going to use a gun stock finishing kit from Outers, and the first step is to apply the stain and wood filler. Make sure you wipe it on evenly and then remove the excess. You can repeat these steps until you get the desired tone. Now I'm ready for the finish coat. This is going to protect the wood and it's going to give it a nice sheen.
Man, that bluing turned out great. I also blued the tang and the sight group, screwed on the barrel rib and the thimbles, and now I'm ready for the rear sight. Now for the rear sight, secure the base to the barrel with 2 small screws. Then attach the sight elevator with a small roll pin. Follow this with the spring and adjustment screw. Since the front sight is interference fit, you simply tap it into place.
Hey, Byron, we're really making some progress. What do you think about that brass?
Man, that is beautiful. That really sets it off.
Well, I've got most of it installed. It's just a few wood screws. It's actually pretty easy. But now I need to get started on the trigger group assembly. First, put a little gun oil on the moving parts, then drop it in place. Next, install the trigger guard. The percussion lock also slides right into place, but you first need to cock the hammer. What this does is it sets this sear pin to line up with the trigger assembly. The lock is secured with this brass bushing and the lock mounting screw. Okay, we only have a few more parts to install. This is the tang. What this does is secures the barrel right to the stock.
While Scott finishes up, let's talk about this heavy octagon barrel. For accuracy, the rifling is 1 in 48 and takes a big 54 caliber round. Remember, before you fire a black powder gun, always check with a qualified dealer for specific loads.
Hey, that's an excellent point, Byron. Now, installing the barrel, well, that's pretty simple. You slide it under the tang, and with a little bit of down pressure, you'll be able to get the wedge right in. All right. Both got some nice Hawkins. That's pretty satisfying to build one yourself.
There you go, lock, stock, and barrel.
Up next, Byron takes his Hawken north into the Canadian tundra in quest of the Labrador caribou. Everything Outdoors now continues.
From the moment we decided to build our Hawken rifle, we had one hunt in mind. Labrador caribou, North America's biggest single species herd living deep in Quebec's tundra, 2,000 miles north of the border. Land surrounded by unnamed glacial lakes, accessible only by float plane.
Byron, great to see you again. Welcome to Twin River Lodge.
Yeah, my friend, this is awesome. We're going to have a great time. I'm stopping on the George River to pick up veteran guide Eb Morris at LUO's base camp.
It's going to be some fantastic hunting up here, as you can see.
They're starting to move pretty good, huh?
Oh, very good.
LUO is Quebec's premier caribou outfitter with strategically located camps that host both gun and bow hunters serious about the sport.
You know, we're in the middle of over 1 million caribou. We're right here. The George River herd is here, moving south, then west. The Leaf River herd is here, moving south and east. They all congregate in this area, and that's where the big bulls are, and that's where we're going. The environment here is extremely harsh. The growing season is maybe a maximum of 90 days a year. Once the caribou have passed through an area and fed as they go, it takes approximately 75 years for the lichen to regenerate itself. You will see trails on the ground from the air that look like a road map. These trails can be as old as several thousand years old. The temperatures in the wintertime can be as low as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Caribou is ideally suited for this. When they come to a lake, they can swim right across it. And the caribou's hooves are cupped, so that when they get in the water, they are excellent swimmers. They can swim faster than a man can row a boat. The antlers on a caribou can be as wide as 60 inches wide, up to 4 feet tall. A very large bull can be up to 400 pounds. Byron, right there in that cove.
Okay. Looks like a great place, Eb.
Once you get your animal, you put your vest on that tree and we'll come and get you.
This is why we're so excited about this area. Look at this great food source for caribou. Lichen is their main source of nutrition. They migrate thousands of miles for it. Mushrooms are also a favorite. Now it's time to put this Hawken to the test. You'll find trails that cut through evergreens, but the caribou won't stay there long because the trees offer cover for their enemies, the wolf and bear. This trail coming out of the tree shows fresh sign, like droppings, and this track made by a large caribou. We're going in the right direction. About a mile in, a group of bulls with cows, but they're nearly 200 yards away, out of my range with black powder and open sights.
That's too windy.
Nice animals, just too far away. They're downwind, so they'll smell me before I can get close enough to take the shot. But you can use the wind to your advantage. Caribou are plagued by black flies. Their only relief? Head to the high ground where the wind keeps the flies away.
The very top of the ridge, silhouetted against the sky. Pretty good bull.
Chances are they'll come this way. The wind is in my favor now. I'm going to wait them out. It's taken an hour, but they're finally coming this way. I've got to make this one shot count. That was a good, clean hit. He won't get far. Surprisingly, after the shot, the other bulls actually approached me, curious to see a human for the first time.
Can you believe this? This is unbelievable. One of the most exciting hunts you'll ever do. Look at the beauty of these animals. Outstanding. You couldn't write a movie script any better than this. And look at that, ain't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful.
Our Hawken was accurate at over 100 yards, and the .54 caliber round should leave a good trail.
We got blood right here on this rock. Another rock up the trail a little farther, we got more blood. See, what we got now is a direction the animal is traveling. Take my compass out, get the compass heading that we're looking for. In this case, it happens to be about 60 degrees. I don't see any more blood. But I see the caribou, that's better. What a magnificent animal this is, I'm telling you. Look at the size of those antlers. Whew. This thing would have to be 200-300 pounds and I don't know, 4 to 6 years old maybe. Yeah, look at this velvet. This stuff is beautiful. You know, velvet is actually living tissue, so we're gonna have to preserve this. He's got a real nice bez on him, and man, look at that shovel.
We'll include his white mane when we do a shoulder mount of this beautiful rack. But check out what may be the caribou's most impressive feature, his unique cupped hoof, an advantage that has helped him survive in this rugged environment for thousands of years.
We now return to Everything Outdoors.
Hi, welcome back. As you can see, we're a how-to show for the outdoors, and we know you'd want to see our biggest project, building the Ultimate Log Lodge.
And we've already completed the shop, and we'll be through with the lodge in about a month or so. But for now, let's look at how it all started.
Picking the exact location to build the lodge wasn't taken lightly. After all, it's a permanent decision. It's kind of like picking a wife. It's a choice that you live with for the rest of your life. We asked Pekka Laine, president of Honka's U.S. office and the manufacturer of our Ultimate Log Lodge, to stop by and look at our site options. After touring the property, he agreed we picked the best location. So this is a good site because we have good southern exposure.
Basically, it's about 4,200 square feet. We're looking at the sun location here. Basically, the sun rising here. You will get the first rays here in the breakfast nook area. And then, of course, here we will have a lot of glass walls, so get a lot of passive solar. It's bringing the outdoors inside, you know.
Yeah, exactly. With Pekka's stamp of approval on our building site, we called in the dozers. They cranked up the big diesel motors and started moving earth. The dozers continued to dig down nearly 12 feet. To accomplish this, more than 11,000 cubic yards of dirt was removed. That's enough dirt to fill up 90 dump trucks, and that's a lot of dirt. If you're thinking about building your version of the ultimate log lodge, separate the topsoil from the subsoil. The topsoil is going to be used in areas where we want to grow grass, and the subsoil is going to be used for backfill around the basement walls. With the excavation complete, we laid out the location to dig our support footings.
Pull it to the northeast corner. I'll meet you at the northeast corner and we'll square the house up.
With the help of our contractor, Billy Brown, we cross-checked our layout. After all, the logs are pre-cut in Finland, and there's just no room for any mistakes.
We know it's square for sure.
Right.
Next, we dug trenches about 1 foot wide and 2 feet deep. These trenches, or some call them spread footings, required about 50 yards of concrete. With this step behind us, we were ready to tackle a unique wall system, a high-tech material that would be a new building experience for most of our crew. We could have chosen a more traditional building method such as cinder blocks, but we chose the ICF or insulating concrete forms. When we snap these together and pour them with concrete, we'll have an insulation value of R25. This wall was right. When filled with concrete, an ICF wall performs with an R rating of 40 to 50. In comparison, a typical wood frame structure has a performance rating of about R15.
As an added feature, the insulating form wall also provides sound deadening characteristics that are equivalent to 3 wood frame walls.
Once we understood the system and got in a rhythm, we could install several blocks in less than a minute.
The Amvic system uses a tie 6 inches on center, which really helps the form. That's what holds the form together when you're pouring concrete. It also doubles as the rebar support unit.
We had a few windows to install at one end of the basement. We got our measurements and simply cut and removed the blocks as needed. It was actually very simple. These foam blocks literally snap together. In about 5 hours, we've almost completed the project.
Now you have to agree, that's a pretty neat way to build a basement. In coming weeks, we'll show you the stages of building the ultimate log lodge, all the way from setting the first log to capping off the chimney.
The Outfitter's Guide, Gear for the Great Outdoors, is brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
Welcome back. You know the human body is more than 90% water. If you were stranded in the wilderness, you could live for weeks without food. But without water, you would die within days. But you sure don't want to drink this.
There are filters that actually make the water look better, but there's a big difference between water filters and water purifiers. Now, a water filter is going to only remove sediment and odor such as chlorine. Now, on the other hand, water purifiers such as this unit from Extreme actually neutralizes life-threatening viruses that are found in many of our lakes, ponds, and streams.
This unit is for personal use. It's light and easy to use with its 3 replaceable cartridge system. First, the water goes through a 1-micron cyst filter to remove the larger bacteria. Next in line is the Virostat. Now, this is the true heart of the system. This neutralizes viruses such as hepatitis A. Don't forget to remove the red tab. Last, the water passes through this filter to remove odors and bad taste from the purified water. Now, when you first get the purifier, run at least 2 bottles of water through the filters to prime the system. After that, the water is drinkable. Hey, it's not bad. You know, even though this is a personal unit, it'll still do about 26 gallons of water before you need to replace the cartridges.
If there's going to be several people in your group, you're going to need a unit like this from General Ecology. Now, this will purify about 2 quarts a minute and has a capacity of about 125 gallons. It's unique because the structured matrix technology purifies the water without using any chemicals. To use it, drop the floating pre-filter in the water and just pump it. When full, you've got a bottle of great tasting purified water. And it tastes great.
Now we can travel anywhere in the world and not have to worry about the water.
Here's a look at what's coming up next week.
Next week, we'll show you how to add some serious pull to your ATV with an electric winch and how to use it to get out of trouble. We'll come out of the ground with phase 2 of our Ultimate Outdoor Lodge buildup. Plus, we'll land some big cats and fry them up Cajun style. For more information on caribou hunts, contact Twin River Lodge, 888-674-0292. Everything Outdoors is an RTM production.